So welcome in the first conversation that we want to know more and meet the participant of the Cotranspose residency. And you're the first one, so good luck. And I want to the first question that I want to ask you is, how should I call you, Henry or
Yeah.
Miss?
Yeah, good question. I'm pretty sure about the answer. Here, it's definitely now, especially after a couple of months being from away from Greece. I'm Henry again,
Mm-hmm.
and I can also feel when I drive back that more of Henry is necessary to get through the day. And when I'm here, I'm definitely Henry, and Hermes is somebody else. Hermes is very comfortable in Greece, and there's some elements of that are inside of me at other times as well. But as I feel very often, also in languages, but also in geography, you are many persons,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Hermes. The most beautiful thing about Hermes, of course, is that's the first name that was given to me that really fits me, because Henry is just a made up name, but Hermes actually tells the story of who I am, and
And
I felt very honored.
and who gave you this name and
Zoe,
what represents?
Zoe from Gaia in Spilio,
Mm-hmm.
she came up to me and she told uh, Henry, your new name is Hermes. And we laughed a little, and I was very grateful. And she said something, but then she suddenly said this beautiful sentence. She says, I can see that Mercury understands, so therefore I said it, and that's why it's true. Something like that she said, and I was stunned because I knew she was completely right. And it was similar to the conversation she and I and Lou had in the summer in a car when we were driving to the garlic village closer to the Turkish border. I forget the name now.
Visa, probably.
Pisa, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And also in that conversation, there were these sparks that we were having, that mutual understanding, and that's also why I was working in Speleo in autumn, because there's something we understand, and that's super nice.
Okay. Great. And why don't you feel Hermes in the Netherlands?
I walked past by the New Greek coffee and food parlor, which is only 200 meters away from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have the tendency when I walk towards it to say yassos to somebody. And but of course, if there's no familiar face, it's a bit odd. And then I pass it this afternoon, and I hear these voices that are already so familiar to me. And then Hermes is for a second. Hermes pops up, and I smile,
Yeah.
and I could say yassos, and I feel I sense something that I'm getting familiar with, and I really like. And then it's gone again, and then I do that, and then I do those things.
Can I call you Hermes? Eh?
Yes, please do.
Okay, Hermes. I remember when we met 1 month ago that your background wasn't in art. You studied
No.
engineering, eh?
Yeah.
Am I remember correct?
Yeah, environmental engineering.
Environmental engineering.
But let's wait for your question first.
Yeah, and I found this really interesting. And what made you change the path from engineering to art?
I didn't change my path.
Okay, so what do you do? How do you
I
combine both?
studied. When I did secondary technical school, I was trained as a process operator, and as an intern, I came to work at a water and air purification unit, and
Okay, that's
cleaning.
not an artistic job.
No, and cleaning
No.
water, working together with bacteria and other small creatures, and making clean water together was so magical. And water, for me, turned into something so magical that I wanted to know more about it. But I also still had this other person inside of me that wanted to make what we later call art, but he just wanted to make stuff.
Okay.
And so after a journey through the world, hitchhiking, through Canada and going into a gallery in the first time in my life, I nevertheless went to study environmental engineering
Mm-hmm.
and got specialized in cleaning water.
Okay.
But already so there's these parallel lines continuously. So not only was I studying that and getting more acquainted with the subject, I also started organizing art and environment things.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Nice.
invited artists to the engineering school to show things.
Okay.
And so I kept mixing those things. And many years later, we have to go all the way to 2005,
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing a very large land art kind of process orientated art project. One of the teachers from my environmental science school came by and he says, "You probably made more use of this study than any of the other students. And you're sharing that stuff all the time." And then even a couple of years later in 2009, one of the other teachers that I was really fond of, he did a opening lecture for a exhibition that I
Mm-hmm.
made. And
Mm-hmm.
suddenly in the lecture, he pulled something out of his jacket and he showed this very small object that I made uh, when I was studying environmental
Yeah.
engineering, but it was
Years ago.
really an art object. And he says, every time when I'm as a scientist, I'm lost and I don't know what to do, I have this thing of Henry on my desk. And I look at it and that always helps, kind of. So it's,
Okay.
it's
So
magic.
okay. So it was in you from the beginning.
It's
It,
always been, yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's all.
yeah,
It was always there. It was always there.
yeah.
Great.
And
Great.
I never will know what the path is, but the path will be beautiful.
Great. Great. And you told that you went for your first time in a gallery when you were a student in the university.
No, no,
Uh,
just before that, when I was hitchhiking
how
through the
old were
world,
you?
I was 19 and I came from a relatively culturally poor background, so I
Okay.
had no knowledge of that.
Okay.
And so I was in Scotland in a industrial city where I wanted to find a job as an engineer
Mm-hmm.
or as a process operator. And but instead of that, I went to concerts and I walked into a gallery. And I walked into a gallery and there's something so specific happened. There was this small thing that the artist had made. There was a beautiful exhibition on. It was Ben Nicholson, a British artist, and there was this small object that he made for his son. And
Okay.
I could see at the object that it was made of very cheap material. It wasn't valuable in that sense. But the one particular thing that I really understood was, yes, I also want to give things. It wasn't
Nice.
that I wanted to own things. It was that I also wanted to make things and give them.
To others. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that yeah, those things happen.
Nice. And what do you think about the environment and the nature near Dikia, near the residency place? Because you visited
Yeah.
Dikia 1 year
Um,
ago. You were
it's
there.
um, it might sound exaggeration, but when I'm somewhere in particular and I make site specific work, I have decided to be there. So I'm not in New York or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
in South Africa, I'm in Dikia. And so I'm basically at that moment in the most beautiful place in the world
Okay.
and will enjoy that. Because that's the choice I made.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have to wonder about these beautiful sandy islands with palm trees and stuff like that. That's not the case. It doesn't
Okay.
matter. Those places are exist, but I made a different decision.
Yeah, for you, Dikia is one of the most beautiful places.
Yes, and that all comes down to just a simple thing. It all comes down to people.
Okay.
Listen to one of the people in Dikia telling you a story, and then another one tells a story, and you know.
Great. And I remember that you told me that you stayed there in order to work and help in Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We
What did you do there?
well, thanks to Cotranspose, we went to the kitchen in Spilio of
Mm-hmm.
Gaia,
Yeah.
and and somehow Zoe and I get along, and it was fun, and all kinds of stuff happened. But somehow within 24 hours, they said, "Henry, you should come and work here." And I said, "Oh, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens." So, and
You
then
decided in one moment to stay there?
yes, because you have to listen to other people.
Okay.
If other people say, "Oh, you should come and work here," they see something that I might not even understand yet.
Okay.
Um, and you have to listen to that. And of course, I already also felt like, gee, this is like super comfortable. I know exactly how people operate here, and it's unfair to say people, because in Gaia, of course, it's very obviously it's women.
Hmm.
So people would be a trick to objectify it, but there's no objectivation whatsoever. I know the code, and I love the code because it's a different kind of decision making, and they are the most supportive people for each other that I saw in a long time.
And how long did you stay there?
Seconds, and truthfully, it was only weeks. Um, I think I did 200 kilograms of pumpkin, and I did 80 kilograms of tragana.
You helped in Trajana, eh?
Tragana was fun.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I like more the. Oh shit! Do I know the if? Is it Ifkadia? I'm more fond of the Ifkadia. Ifkadia, I really like. My cupboard is full of Greek stuff now.
Okay.
No, because they gave me so many beautiful presents that I slowly eat everything.
Great.
Now, Ifkadia, I really like.
Yeah, nice. And Tripuro, I can imagine.
I'm sorry.
And Tripuro.
No. There's stuff around the area of Spilio and Dikia. I know people that make stuff that is even better than that. It's not Cipro. There's something else that's even better. And the problem with Cipro is I can't sleep when I drink Cipro.
Okay.
So then you continue, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. So what did you like the most from Cotranspose and your experience at Dikia was the people, eh?
There was this very specific moment. I took a journey back in summer, and I wasn't going to fly because I flew last year to Sofia, and I went to an online calculator to calculate my carbon footprint, so I couldn't fly back.
Okay.
So I did it with buses. So I did a very slow journey through Europe, taking all kinds of buses for us
to Netherlands.
No, I went all the way south to Athens and Peloponnesos, and then I went to Albania and Montenegro. I saw all kinds of places. But
okay, great.
When I was in Vienna, I was on a bench near a museum where I was going to see a beautiful exhibition, and the exhibition did extra proof for this whole story. But already previous for the exhibition, I was sitting on a bench reading the last pages of a book that traveled with me, and suddenly I was overwhelmed with this feeling that I fell in love with Cotranspose. And that was funny. Oh shit! I fell in love with an organization. That's funny. That's cute. And then I went into an exhibition, and in the exhibition was a video, and I took a still from the video because there's this young women discarded over the riverbed that looks a bit like the riverbed of the Maritza. And when I show it to, for example, Claudia here in Groningen, she recognized it instantly. That was the feeling. That was exactly the feeling. These young women in control of a situation and pushing a situation forward while being close to the riverbed of a river, which also was in the performance. Because I don't know if you saw the performance last summer.
Yeah. I was there.
But it was the buckets of water were partially, for me, also the translation of the close by river by spilling the water on the floor.
Yeah.
So but I'm using a lot of words to express myself, but
okay.
Basically, it's a simple feeling.
And one last question that I want to ask you is, because you said that you like to collect things and give it to other people, what's what's your favorite thing that you collected from the IKEA from the last residency? And you want to share with us?
Let's see what I'm bringing back. Um, I went to the garbage dump
Mm-hmm.
near Dikia on the road to Dillafos.
Yeah.
And I looked around for stuff, and there was this old rotten kitchen cabinet that was smelly and stupid. But now it's in my car, and it's going back to Dikia because now it's a beautiful wooden oil cabinet that contains my stuff, and I've raised it a little so it can sit over the car wheel on the right side. And in the evening I open it up, and then I and I have fun.
Okay.
And it's but there's a lot more of these.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. But it would be fun to show the cabinet because it stands by itself also. So maybe I'll put it somewhere on show with some
Yeah,
food there.
you can. You
It
can.
it will it will have a function. It will be funny.
Great.
Maybe we can discover whose kitchen cabinet it is.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Thank
There's
you.
some, there's some handwriting in the inside on the inside that I didn't remove. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Maybe someone will come and ask for it.
yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And I hope to see you soon.